I mean, one of our claims to fame was literally fully stripping down an Icarus C-42, removing every single nut and bolt, and then rebuilding it. And we did that in 6 days. You know, it was a bit of a challenge. We didn't get much sleep.
So hi everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Now, I know the gentleman I'm going to be interviewing tonight, Mark, my CFI, has been on the channel before, but we're going to take a slightly different tack with this one tonight, and we're going to look at aircraft maintenance. And the reason for this is I covered a lot of the aircraft maintenance requirements of Microlight when I did my ground GST lessons with the guys at Airways, and it led me to believe that actually there was more to it than meets the eye than just a couple of spanners and a couple of 10mm, and it's always the 10mm spanner that disappears in the workshop. Why, I don't know. But anyway, I'm going to bring Mark in. I'm not really going to get you to introduce yourself, because actually the main focus of today's interview is more about that building in the background. So the last time I was up there, that building. So the last time I was up there at Darley Moor, there were musings about a maintenance facility and stuff started moving around. And I followed your Facebook page, and it's been great to see that building behind you just flourish from an empty space into what is going to become the micro maintenance building of the future. So what's been actually happening in the hangar, and what is micro maintenance focus towards the flying community?
Well, hello, Giles again. I think, yes, sorry. I mean, maintenance has always been going on at Darley Moor for as long as there's been aircraft here, but only on a sort of a small scale. You know, and there's always been either third parties involved. And what we really decided a couple of years ago was to take it to the next level. I didn't realize just how much of a need there was in this area, and you know, it's just gone crazy. So we decided to put our money where our mouth was and invested heavily in generating and building one of the finest Microlight maintenance centres in the Midlands. Really, it's a fantastic facility that we've got here. Got some great support, and that's it. Really, like I say, the idea is to set up something that can be used.
So you've said you've kind of putting your money where your mouth is. How did you come to the realization that a maintenance facility was required? The automotive industry have been doing this for decades. It's nothing new in the car world.
No, and to be honest, it's nothing new, particularly in the sport-light world. You know, there are plenty of maintenance facilities out there across the board, some very good ones. The need, particularly for ourselves, was we run a flying school. You know, there's only so much per hour we can charge before people wouldn't use us. And we're a busy school, and we were clocking up a lot of hours, and every time you clock up and reach a certain number of hours, we were then reliant upon a third party coming in and servicing the engines, you know, or waiting on an inspector to come along when they were ready so that they could come and permit the aircraft. So really, it kind of became hit twofold. One, we needed someone on site, and two, you know, we were struggling to get the kind of support that we needed, and that's nothing derogatory to the people who were helping us out. You know, I mean, we use everyone knows who Conrad was, and if you ever owned a Rotax, and so when Conrad gave up servicing and moved on, you know, it did leave quite a big chunk of area that wasn't covered. So really, we went into it just to service our own aircraft. So we went off on all the courses that you need to do and got the experience, and really we're servicing our own aircraft to make sure that they were to a standard, because you know, profit's not a dirty word. The flying school needed to make money, and one of the big costs was maintenance. We didn't want to reduce on the maintenance. In fact, when I took over the flying school, we wanted to up the maintenance, and having that facility in house just became more of a necessity than anything else.
I saw that firsthand when I was having some of my lessons. It needed the odd tweak, and literally you went, bring the person in, get it sorted, and the aircraft was back up the next day, ready for the lessons for the students, wasn't it?
Yeah, and hopefully we've all been to a flying school of some sorts. They are a business, you know, that aircraft needs to be in service every flyable hour that it's booked out for. It needs to be airworthy every single flyable day. And that's it. As you know, we had a slight issue at 5 o'clock in the evening, and a full flyable weekend that was due the following day. That plane needed to be in the air at 9 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
And that was it, really. We was there, right? Stay there till 10 o'clock at night fixing the problem. That's just how it was. And same again, we had an issue, and this is kind of where it really sort of turned the corner for us. I had an issue with one of our aircraft, and a major part needed to be replaced on that aircraft. Not only was that part not in the country, but the company that we were hoping to do it couldn't get to fit us in for months down the line, and it was a school aircraft. It would have been cheaper to buy another aircraft than wait for that aircraft to be repaired. It literally, you imagine how much a flying school takes. So it would have been cheaper to buy another aircraft. Right. So you can see the need and the demand. Yeah. And again, we when we set up micro maintenance, not only did we decide to go down the route of making sure that we were looking after students and qualified pilots in our area, but we also now support all of the local flying schools in our area with the same premise, really, of your aircraft earns you money, let's get it back in the air. And it's been great that we've been supported so well.
Yeah. Okay. I've noticed on your Facebook page you were rebuilding something I call a bit of a poorly aircraft last year. It did look very sad, and I did notice it a few times in the back of the hangar. In your sort of within micro maintenance, you clearly must have a wide skill set within the team. Can you just cover a few of those assets that I use the term assets, but skill sets that micro maintenance bring?
Well, where do you begin? Yes, the poorly aircraft. We had a number of incidents for pilots that we resolved, and it was great. That we could get aircraft back in the air, and it does call upon having a real flexible team. Micro maintenance that can work and has worked on every major aircraft that's in the Microlight world. So it was easy for us to lend that skill set to fixing varying types of aircraft or what it is.
Are you talking about the type of aircraft from the very old style, such as the XLs, all the way up to Ninjas?
Yeah. That's exactly what we're talking about. I come from an old school Microlight background. I flew around in 2-stroke flex wings and had to fix them, repair them, and get them serviced. And all the way up to Alan, who's our head inspector, who built one of the finest. This one here built one of the finest Ninjas that you'll ever fly. And that sounds biased, but it really is a nice aircraft of the home built. I won't
it does look very, and it's not just a showpiece, is it? It's a very nice. I've seen it flying, beautiful. And it just flies around the sky. So nicely.
It's a stunning plane to fly.
Yeah. One day I'll get a right-hand seat in the thing.
Yeah, you will do. And I mean, you probably hear us, and you certainly hear myself referring to us as the team. We have a phrase that we bound around between us, and that between us we make one good one. And that was kind of really where the conversation about setting up a maintenance facility came from. There was 3 of us that came together to help fix each other's planes. One of us was good at airframes, one of us was good at engines, and the other one was good at avionics. And it really sort of stemmed from there. And it was then easy, because we were working on so many different types of aircraft and many different types of installs, that it was then easy to adapt that for the next type, and right. To one of our claims to fame was literally fully stripping down an Icarus C-42, removing every single nut and bolt, and then rebuilding it. And we did that in 6 days. It was a bit of a challenge. We didn't get much sleep.
That sounds like a feat in its own right.
Oh, mate, it was. Yes, that was probably one of the most grueling things that we've done as a company.
When we were going over that ground GST, significant emphasis was put on aircraft permits. Now, I'm taking that you can do aircraft permits on any of the microlights. You've got your inspectors and other bits and pieces. Are there any problems that you've come across, routine problems, that if anyone's watching this channel will look at it and go, oh, I wish I'd known about that, or I'd actually forgotten about that, and now it's sort of brought it back up in my my knowledge bank?
Yeah, I mean, inspecting aircraft is something that we really do enjoy. Not that we're particularly mean, but we do have morals, we do have integrity, and we have that underwritten rule of would I fly this aircraft, which is probably the best way of judging most machines. But yeah, you can really walk into some and you get thrown a carrier bag full of paperwork, and the plane's there and it might still be in its pajamas, and you've got to try and sort this out to try and find the weight report. And so a lot of issues can be resolved just by putting the paperwork in some sort of order. It must be a challenge for the owner to try and find when was my weight report done, and get this deluge and mountain of paperwork that they can't find anything. How's an inspector supposed to find these? And again, we're not meant to touch anything on the aircraft, other than inspect. So if we can only issue a permit on the facts that we're given at the time. And so if we're not really supposed to take a tool to the aircraft. So we don't want to be removing cowlings. Ideally the owner has dropped the wing on a flex wing and all of this, turning up to it and it's still in its pajamas and you can't get to the plane because it's buried behind another two. But yeah, it can be funny sometimes. And then you go the other way. This is you can tell people who follow us intently. We did one only the other day, and it was a pleasure. The paperwork was all laid out on the table and everything. They got thumb marks on it, and every single part that needed to be removed was removed. And it sets you up straight away with then going, if this guy's gone to that trouble, or girl, this person has gone to that trouble of displaying and making sure that you can see the aircraft, then you've pretty much got a good idea on how well they're going to maintain their aircraft. You're thrown a jiffy bag full of receipts.
I was thinking that as you said it, this person takes pride in what they fly
exactly.
in.
Yeah. And even a dirty plane. We went and permitted one last week, and it was we had to literally say we can't permit it. We can't check the propeller because it's that dirty. And that sounds a bit harsh, but if you're not going to clean your plane, you have no idea what you're uncovering, what you're covering up. We need to see these parts for cracks and inspect those bolts. And
I'm going to make you laugh now. My friend Clive gave me stick about having dirty wheels on my PB. So I actually spent a couple of hours cleaning my aircraft. So Clive, it's got clean wheels, mate. It's got clean wheels.
Well, it's there. We must have touched on this at some point during your training.
Yeah.
Cleaning your aircraft is one of the best way of inspecting your aircraft. When you're crawling around it with the service sheets and going, right, I need to do this and check that. You're following a pattern, but if you're regularly cleaning your aircraft, if something's moved, if a cable's come unloose or the spats aren't fixed on properly, or
it's like that little plate, isn't it? You slide your finger over that little bracket on the undercarriage, isn't it? And that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and this is cleaning your plane is. We fly for fun, what better way of enjoying your hobby than cleaning your pride and joy?
Yeah. So we covered, let's say, the modification side of things in my lessons. Are they commonplace? And is basically I remember hearing about you chopping the wings off an aircraft. Was it a Sky Ranger Classic to a Swift? Is that called a modification, Swift, or is it a major airframe overhaul? I don't know what you call that.
Well, no, it's classed as a modification. This is where the issue comes with a lot of people's understanding. A modification to your aircraft is anything that has changed since the time it was built, whether that was a factory built machine or a home built machine. It would have been signed off and given its airworthiness certificate based on its current state. So then you go and add anything to it, it's classed as a modification, and therefore some are more serious than others. Adding an aux point isn't necessarily the hardest thing to get approved, unless you've got 3 or 4 of them. Fitting a landing light isn't exactly the hardest thing to get approved, unless you're flying around like a Christmas tree.
And doesn't comply with the air navigation order.
Exactly. Yeah. But then you can really sort of go to these minor mods, which aren't necessarily one-offs, and we say this with a lot of things until we started doing this. I'm never the first person to because there's always someone that's either done it before you or has tried to do it. So it's worth doing the research, and depending which organization you're under, whether it's the BMEA or LAA or whichever they are in whichever country you're watching, there will be some form of information or somebody that you can talk to and say, I'm interested in doing this. And that's where these fact sheets or tills really come in useful, because they're technical information leaflet.
Okay,
I set myself up there. It's a good job I knew it, wasn't it? And what they'll do is they'll say, yes, so long as you follow this guidance, you'll be okay to get it approved. And if not, then you'll need to prove that it does this, the ampage or whatever. It's safe, when we need to pull it on in varying different directions. Yeah. But, you also in the sport world, which we play with, it's one of the reasons why I love the sport, because someone's going to come along and go, you know what? I want a hand throttle fit into my aircraft. A video here. And someone might not have done it before, and you might have a version of it that you want to do. And it's great because it encourages people to go down that route. And as long as it's safe and it's functional and it works and doesn't fall off in the air, you're not going to have too many problems. And that's what I love about sport aviation, that you have that freedom to go, I want to do that. I want to change the propeller. I want to change the wheels, and we love it, don't we?
Custom aircraft. I've seen on your webpage, you've got a very, very nice, shiny, blingy aircraft. It was in the background of our last video. And it's going to look amazing. So realistically, you've shown your Flylight Ninja. It has been somewhat pimped, hasn't it? You haven't just left it as standard. No. Is it going to show up the Jackson build behind you, is what I'm saying. Is there much demand for custom aircraft?
There wasn't.
No?
I think we all relive our youth in some way, and it for me, you can see 2 aircraft next to each other of the same type, and they've got the same decals on them, or they're all very, and you sit there and go, that cost me X amount of pounds. And it's always the same of when you buy a new car or a new car to you, and every car that's coming in the opposite direction is exactly the same as yours. And so what I wanted to do was just do something different. And we started doing that with paint kits, like this one over there. He wanted a wasp. Okay, let's turn it into a wasp. And we just speak to the customer and see what it is that they're after, and come up. We actually got another one that we're in the midst of doing, which I'll try and send you a picture. And it's just nice to have that uniqueness. It's nice to feel a little bit prouder than you were before, that your machine is somewhat different. It's nice to arrive at an airfield or a fly-in and everyone's looking at your plane. Why not? That's why would you not want that? Why would you not?
Is that a bit like Andy Harding's Meek that's got the Captain America style all over it?
Oh, yes. We did that design, to be honest. He came on, what, Captain America? So we gave him a Captain America design.
Because it's that uniqueness, isn't it? You fly, you're on final approach, watching everyone look. That's Andy's aircraft.
Yeah. Now with our Jackson custom that we did and that we are doing, we just decided to take it to the next level. I don't say we aren't aircraft builders, we at all, but we are a mod shop. And we like coming up with new ideas that have never been done before. That's what I was saying. No one's ever done anything for the first time. Well, we're trying. We find problems or go, you know what? Wouldn't it be great if? And then we try and see if we can make it. And if not, then we don't bother. But we've had a bit of fun trying to make it, and it might then spur off in another idea. And to be honest, the one that we're building at the minute, I mean, it's got everything on it: heated seats, lights, solar system, power, new heating. I don't even know where I've forgotten. There's too many things on it.
You better remember, you've got to put all the mod paperwork in for it.
Well, yeah. Well, at one point, I've had to just constantly have Zoom meetings with the BMEA just to bring them up to speed on where we're at now.
Yeah.
But, I mean, for us...
I still would love a picture of that engine. I'd love a picture of that engine, but you can't show me, can you?
Yeah, the engine's special. But it's not just doing these for one-offs. We're also looking at these and going, is this something that we can produce on a mass scale? One that we did not so long ago, stunning machine. And the brief, I just wanted to change the color of the seatbelts. That's all I wanted to do. I wasn't going down the route of selling seatbelts. I just wanted to change the color of the seatbelts because it went with my paint scheme of the plane. And then because it took longer to get the seatbelts approved than it did to actually repair the aircraft. But then all of a sudden we're in a situation where we're going, you know what? We've got these seatbelts now. And everyone who saw them went, can I have them? And it was like, yeah, of course you can. I'll get some for you, And before you know it, we're now selling seatbelts for Sky Rangers. Crazy.
So you've touched on the fact about you doing custom aircraft, and the Jackson build behind you is very special. But what sort of things are you sort of offering? I mean, years ago, everyone used to love nose art. Is there any sort of spin-off from that?
Well, funny you should mention it. Here's one we prepared earlier.
You didn't tell me about this. What's this all about?
No, never mentioned it. What do you think of this?
Where's that going?
Tail art.
You're going for tail art? That's going to look epic.
Yeah. The guy, the pilot, came to us. He was, I'm interested in doing something unique and special. And I went, have you got a nickname? And he went, well, they call me the Reaper, which is always scary as a pilot anyway. Why you'd be called the Reaper? And he just went from there. We've got a friend of mine who's a tattoo artist. Quickly drew something together, and we shaped it around and played with it a bit. And we now have this decal that's going on his tail of his plane. Mm. And this is how we go, because it then went, you know what, that's a great idea. So the whole idea now, from this one idea, is that we'll do a number of commissions that you can then just buy from the website. I'll roll it up in a tube, post it to you, and you can have your own unique tail art.
Nice. So rather than having an aircraft in a row, all the Sky Ranger classics down there, you can spot yours because the tail will be different.
Yeah, and we've got some crazy ones coming through. Really exciting to see.
Wow.
And this is behind the scenes. There's nothing to do with me. I come along and go, wouldn't it be great if we could do this? And then the team cracks on and fires out these designs, and before I know it, what do you think of this one? Wow, that's it. And you suddenly run out of planes that
yeah.
that you can go, I'll stick that one on there, and and it's nice, it's exciting.
Yeah. Now, following our last chat, the world seems to have moved on in steps, not just little increments, but steps.
Nope.
And I see that you have now bought your PB. In its special colours, but you're not just got a PB, you're now a PB, or you're a Flylight Flex Wing dealership. What's happened there?
How nuts went that? I mean, that is all your fault. I'm blame
sorry.
You entirely for it. All I want to do is just go for a bimble around in your machine.
I will re-quote your phrase to you. This might be an expensive flight.
Yeah, I knew I was going to end up with one, to be honest. I think I've been putting it off, and I went for that flight in an evening, spent all night thinking about it, and then woke up to an email from Ben going, if you want one, I can sort you out with one. and then Ben was Ben.
Yeah.
But to be honest, the main reason we went down there with the PB dealership was we can also offer the training to it as well. So not only can we offer the entire range of machines, that we can go and I'll sort you out with your training for it.
Yeah. And
there's not too many places in the country that are BHPA and BMAA schools. So it was just a perfect market, the sub 70 market, to go into. And again, the PB by far is one of the best aircraft I can ever remember flying. It's just Ben was trying to get me down to fly the Adam the other day, and I'm like, I daren't, because I'll end up buying an Adam, and it's just nuts.
Yeah.
But also there's a need for it. We're obviously a good distance away from Flylight down at Sywell, and so it's just expanding the service centres to somewhere that's a little bit closer. So if you're closer to us, we'll certainly look after your machine for you. We can get spare parts, and we can do all the repairs and tuning and all of that comes along with owning a PB. We are going to do a bit of micro maintenance in, so we're looking at some of the some of the customization of stuff that
I can't imagine you're staying standard or stock from the moment it walks in that hangar or rolls in the hangar.
It's tough, because I also want it as a demonstrator. The whole idea is so you got something to look at. The one brief I got off Ben was just make sure it's light, and that's kind of really the limiting.
That is the problem with Sub 70. It's keeping it light. But for those that didn't see the problem, for those that haven't seen the video, there'll be a link up here which will refer you back to Mark and my previous chat about Sub 70 training, and you can watch that if you haven't seen it already. Now, some of my channel are from the paramotoring background. And in terms of what support and maintenance will micro maintenance be able to give the paramotorists? Because I know there's paramotoring that goes on at Darley Moor. People slip, trip, fall, things wear out. Is micro maintenance going to be geared up to, or is able to provide support to that part of the community as well?
It is definitely a plan. The PB route that we've gone down sets us up for future growth, and obviously with those type of pocket rocket engines, which is very similar, if not the same, as most of the paramotor sector, we'd be foolish not to offer that kind of service. And yes, the paramotor school that's here is a very, very busy one, and people are buying machines and flying around them, and yes, people fall over and they have issues with them, and unfortunately, they go off fixing them themselves by replacement, and that can be quite expensive. So we're looking to bring in someone on the specialist side. We've got someone who's working with us now, which is great, but looking to bring someone in more on the specialism side, where we can tune carburetors and make them working a bit more efficiently and fault find. And sometimes you just can't make those things start.
Have you got a fabrication section within the building behind you then?
Oh yeah, we have everything. We call it the world headquarters, and it couldn't be any closer to the truth. Yeah, we got full fabrication, full customization, the whole works.
I keep referring back to my GST lessons, and that was taking me on a learning journey. And it's we should never stop learning as pilots, but as aircraft owners, you're kind of in that world of, what do I do? What can I do? And what should I be able to do? Are you going to offer the ability or the capability, should I say, of pilots and aircraft owners to have some training on maintenance so that they can do those routine jobs themselves? Is that something you are looking at?
We'd be foolish not to. We work really closely with the BMEA, British Microlight Aircraft Association, and we really sign up to their MO, what it is that they're trying to get out of there. Ultimately, we are instructors, and one of the things that we enjoy doing is teaching. One of my favorite questions to be asked is, can I come down and do my annual service with you so I know how to do it? Yes, you can. The whole idea is to try and save owners some money. So if we can teach you how to maintain your aircraft better, it's going to save you a fortune in the long run. So we're looking at doing some, hopefully co-hosted with the BMEA, training courses on how to rig and de-ring a flex wing, how to do a basic service on your engine, whether it be 2-stroke or 4-stroke, and literally on how to maintain your aircraft. Bizarrely, it is in the manual on how to look after your aircraft, but going through it and going, that's the ball joint. And I remember when I first owned my very first Microlight, and I was reading through, and it said, and lubricate ball joint. no idea where that ball joint was. There's lubricate ball joint. I can find about 10 of them, and it took someone, my instructor, to go, that's the, and then it made perfect sense.
The penny droppers.
I think you hit the nail on the head, and we've said it to it. You don't know what you don't know. So sometimes you just need someone to point at the big ball joint and go, lubricate that.
We've actually covered a lot, and a lot of it's a nice refresher for me, and I'm sure those that do watch my channel will get more of a flavour of what micro maintenance. I look forward to the day I can fly in, have my bacon butty and a cup of tea, and have my 50-hour maintenance on a PB. So, but what is the future looking like for micro maintenance? Where do you see yourself going? I mean, it's a huge facility behind you. I say huge; it's 2 stories, spares, fabrication. It's a monster in the background. Where do you see yourself going in the future?
I don't know, to be honest. I never expected to be where we are today. A year ago, it's just exponentially growing. And it's fantastic for that. Our plan is to pretty much carry on the way that we're going. We're offering a lot of services to our area that haven't been here on hand. I enjoy amusing myself. So we're looking at a lot more modifications that we're hoping to bring online for everybody else to use. We're definitely looking more on the training side. And to be honest, if it carries on the way that we're going, we're looking at bigger premises as well, because it's gone crazy. Talking about having varying things online. So we're looking to promote and get more interaction with the pilots, so we can give them how-tos. So on those rainy days, you can have a watch or a read of information, and that's it really. The idea is just moving forward and see how many boxes and how many we can tick and how many people we can help along the way.
That seems to be very much the emphasis of micro maintenance and everyone at Darley Moor, really, is pilots are pilots. Let's help everyone. It's one big family, isn't it?
Yeah, the kettle's always on. Yeah, we are. That's how we put it. But
was it kettle and digestive chocolate biscuits?
There might not be too many of those. It depends when you come. But yeah, feel free to bring them along when you do pop in.
Brilliant.
But
okay, Mark.
It's amazing where we've been.
Yeah. Okay. Well, Mark, thank you very much for your time. If you've got any questions about micro maintenance or the PB, I'll leave the link in the description of how to get to their new website. It's very shiny, so go and have a look at it, please. Again, Mark, thank you very much for your time. We'll leave this video here, and I can't wait to start making more flying videos. The flight briefing room's great, but I love just flying, and this lockdown's been driving me crazy. I hope these videos have been useful for you as the viewers. And until next time, everybody, fly safe.